Chris Larsen got hacked. Chris Larsen, the co-founder of Ripple, one of the most famous people in crypto, got $112 million hacked out of his XRP wallet. I say that with a smile, but it's really like, what? All this time, we as a community have thought XRP, the XRPL, super firm, super robust. I don't know what the firm part was, but super safe and secure. We've got all of our faith being in this secure system in the XRPL. And Chris Larsen, of all people, gets millions and millions of XRP stolen out of his wallet. And it's funny because we assume that people like Chris Larsen, like Brad Garlinghouse at these top dog crypto companies, that they're untouchable. They've got all the security in place and nothing's going to happen to the assets in their wallets. But then all of a sudden, Chris Larsen takes to Twitter and lets everyone know that he's been hacked. And he made sure to point out that his personal XRP accounts had been compromised. That's going to be important a little bit later on. Of course, then loads of concern and fear and, oh no, what has happened, spread across all of the community. And that tweet where he talked about that almost immediately got 2.1 million impressions, which isn't normal in the crypto space. And this, of course, has led to extra discussion about the security of XRP. Now, of course, there is a section of the community that are really struggling to accept the situation and even questioning the legitimacy of the security breach in the first place. It makes you think, how secure are the assets that I have? Do I have hot wallets attached? Have I ever put myself in a situation where I could be compromised? And I think many of us have and do put ourselves in those situations. I think even when you go into the comment section of a YouTube video, you'll find scams in there. It's very common. So we just have to make sure we have a really airtight system where none of our keys are getting out to anyone. And I know exactly how kind of vulnerable and scary it feels to know that someone like Chris Larsen can get his assets stolen. And I think it's a really good opportunity for us to reflect on the security of our own assets as it stands right now. What systems do you have in place? How secure are your assets? And as time has gone on and this story has developed, Brad Garlinghouse has come out to say that these wallets that were hacked were not Ripple managed, basically alluding to the idea, just like Chris Larsen said, that these were personal accounts. And so actually it was more Chris Larsen's fault than Ripple's fault. And we've talked about this on the channel before, but there is a difference between institutional security and personal security. These institutions don't just use a Ledger Nano X like that's what we have available to us, and that's the maximum we can get. But the institutions use extra, really multitudes higher security for their own assets. And these are things you can be involved with if you have enough money. The problem is we don't. But what I've seen in the community since this event is really going from a state of shock and panic into a more constructive environment where people are actually looking for even better solutions to secure their crypto. And thankfully, after this, because it's such a prominent figure that got hacked, there's so many articles, new videos about protecting your assets. And I think it's just a really good thing. I think that the net result of all of this is really good. Obviously, for Chris Larsen, not so good. 112 million gone. That's tough, but I'm sure he has many other wallets with just as much crypto in as well. Now, of course, there are some people getting into this whole thing and trying to figure out how this hack happened in the first place. One of those prominent people was actually Zach XBT, who he even discovered that this thing had happened. I don't understand how he's done that. And people in the comments on his tweet discovering it were like, how on earth did you figure all of that out? It's like amazing. Anyway, he figured out this hack in the first place, and he's trying to dive in more, and other people are trying to dive in more to figure out what exactly has happened here. And what was really funny, it's kind of dark humor, but everyone was making fun of Chris Larsen saying that he fell for the Brad Garlinghouse scam on YouTube. As you know, there's this fake Brad Garlinghouse advert, which is basically an XRP scam that plays on YouTube. Somehow YouTube lets that through their system, but it's funny. Now, I will say here that that is completely not what has happened. He's not going to fall for a scam like that on YouTube, but I thought it was funny nonetheless. And what this has also brought out in this whole story is the misinformation. There's so much misinformation, and we just made a joke about misinformation there, but sometimes they're a lot more subtle and real for people. Not only does this force us to make sure our security is really good, but it also forces us to dive a little bit deeper into real resources and real information. Now, something that was really interesting throughout all of this is that Ripple, or Chris Larsen, managed to freeze the account concerned. Now that's concerning, and at least many people in the community thought that was concerning. You can actually freeze a wallet? Really? That starts to feel a little bit weird, right? Could they freeze ours? What if the World Economic Forum, being a partner of Ripple, decided that, oh, Ripple, you've got to now actually freeze accounts and we can't move our crypto. It's like a frozen account. This shouldn't be possible or allowed. And so there are concerns that have been brought up like that with people in the community. I find that very interesting too, and we'll just have to see how that develops. I don't think we've actually had Brad Garlinghouse or Chris Larsen respond to the reason why they could freeze or how they could freeze these accounts, so we'll have to stay tuned. Now, the good that's come out of all of this, I think, is that it's pretty alarming, but after the shock and after the shock has settled, people have turned that into a constructive environment where they've actually started to learn how to better protect their assets. I think overall, if somebody was going to fall, let it be someone who's got loads of crypto and they lose a part of that crypto, even though it is quite a lot of crypto, but they've got lots more, to teach us the lesson. These things ultimately end up being good because we learn lessons from other people. This is a nice big one for us to really learn that lesson and really start to advance and improve our own security situation. Also, I think it's been valuable watching how Chris Larsen and Brad Garlinghouse have responded to an event like this. I think they've handled it extremely well, and it just shows Ripple's on top of things. They're making sure statements are out very quickly, and I just like how they handled it. And in the end, I think we're going to get two things out of this. We're going to get a more informed and cautious community, so it'd be a more protected community about these types of things. And we're going to take that forward and be more concerned about the collective community security as well. For example, something like this is likely to be seen by higher players up. Let's say YouTube sees something like this, and they say, yeah, we really do need to knuckle down on these scams on crypto. And all of a sudden, we no longer see that Brad Garlinghouse scam on YouTube. Big events like this do make a difference. So I suggest we improve our own personal security, and we also talk about it more online, because you never know who's going to see it. I want to thank you for your kind attention and watching this video again. If you would be so kind to hit like on this video, it really helps share it with the rest of the YouTube community, and subscribe if you're not already to see more videos just like this. Stay emotionless. I'll see you in the next one.